You're watching the mainstream, formerly known as CIO News. I'm Khusbhu Soni, the founder of the mainstream. Today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about a tech frontier, a leadership dialogue with none other than Ninad Raje. Ninad needs no introduction. I'm going to take a few seconds to do that. He is the Group Chief Information Officer at Jaquar. He's a seasoned leader with over 27 years of experience working in various regions across the globe. He has expertise in digital transformation, in building tech enabled solutions, transforming businesses across his career. He's basically an IIM Ahmedabad alumnus and a recipient of numerous prestigious awards. He has spearheaded transformative initiatives, launched 6 tech-enabled products, and impacted over 5 million lives through his innovative approach and through technology and business. Nina, thank you so much for taking our time and joining me today.
Thank you so much, Khusbhu. I think it's a brilliant. I don't think so that kind of an introduction was required. I say it's pretty exaggerated. I don't think so. I've achieved this kind of a mileage. But then This is an opportunity for me as well. But then thank you so much for inviting me to this great show. I think your rebrand from CIO News to the mainstream has opened up new frontiers for you and your team as well. And I wish you all the luck in the near future. I'm sure it is going to be having an absolute global outreach and outlook as well going forward. So congratulations to you for the rebranding to the mainstream.
Thank you so much, Ninad. You've always been very, very supportive and given always candid feedback. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Ninad, you've had a wonderful journey in your career. Tell us what made you firstly to get into this industry, pick up tech as a domain.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't mention that it is by chance. This is something which I always wanted to do since I was a small kid. And I was always intrigued with what technology can bring in. And in today's day and age, of course, in hindsight, I am graceful and rather grateful for ensuring that I took this entire technology stream and not some other stream, because it is making a difference. Look at where we are. We have come a long way now. And technology is everywhere, right? Yeah. So going back in time, when I was a small kid, I used to kind of look at the stars and tell myself that maybe someday I'll reach there. And the way I could reach there is either get a flying license or maybe get into tech. And I chose the second piece, which is tech. And here I am talking to nice people like you all, and hopefully should be able to kind of do wonderfully well and make some difference to the entire community and the world at large.
I mean, that was really nice, Anand. Specifically to your story of what inspired you to get into this field of tech, right? And also in fact, when I started, I never knew that I would stay along the tech journey, because I'm not a B.Tech. I'm not from a technology education background, but I'm more of, a marketing and media person. So, but all these years, it has inspired me to stick to this domain because, like you said, it's evolving and there is no stop to this. And in the next 5 years is also going to be so great when it comes to technology. There's so much to look up to, right? Fantastic. You've been doing, like I said, really great work, Ninad, in building tech solutions to, support the business and also generate enough revenue, So your technology solutions that you've been working upon, you've been helping in the organizations to both generate revenue, automate the entire business approach, and also create a societal impact. What is the thought behind that? How do you kind of, come up? How do you look at these problem-solving initiatives?
Right. So I had the opportunity right from the beginning, and I consider myself to be very, very lucky to get an opportunity to work on various different products, different sectors also all over the globe, whether it's in India, the US. I've had stints there as well. And it has given me a perspective of what is required for that specific locality, So there's always this particular need which the local community has, right? So first and foremost, if one has to be delivering, identifying and delivering these kind of successful products, like you had mentioned that I had the opportunity of creating 6 tech enabled blockbuster products all across the world. It is to make a product successful. First and foremost, you need to identify the unmet needs of those communities, right? And then once you address those unmet needs, you also need to anticipate the future trends. How it is going to pan out, how it is going to evolve, because revenue is going to come up later on. What is here and now is a great product which has technological advanced backing, and it has to reach out to the audience, the target audiences, right? It has to make sense for them. Right. And that is where the amalgamation of technology and the business know-how comes into picture, right? So it all depends on our understanding of market dynamics, technological advancements, and the local needs of that community. And once we understand this, I think it is easy for us to sort of galvanize all the resources which will enable the identification and creation of that product. And once we do that, and once you put this entire mixture in place, topped up with very cutting edge technology, the product is bound to be successful. Right. And for an example, when I was in the US, the stint I had almost for like 6 years, I had the opportunity to work on something which we created right from scratch. So those days I was with the world's largest health insurance company, right? And the primary sort of objective of that organization was to cater to the very large US and the European markets, billions of community members involved in this. And how do we address the needs as well as how do we stem the flow of fraud? Because when it comes to insurance, there's a rampant fraud which happens across. We all know about it. So how do we address that situation? That is where we started with, right? And we started with saying, all right, why would anybody want to commit a fraud? And that's the premise we started with. And then, of course, we built upon it. We evolved it to such an extent that from a percentage of almost around 60%, 61%, it drastically reduced to like a single digit, like a 8, 9. Nice. And that was like really successful too. And it was addressing billions of people. And that's where the community comes into picture. You happen to speak about the society, right? Yeah. I always believed in giving back to the society. I think the society has been kind enough to give me something always. Right. And my endeavor has always been to give it back to the society in whatever shape and form. And I believe that technology, using the technology, we can really give it back to the society and do wonderfully well for them. And I'm sure they can use it. They can understand the utility as well, and then they can obviously evolve it further as well. So it's a mix of professional business ethics, revenue generation. We of course will get it with successful implementation of product, but the society and the community has a very definitive role to play as well, and I would want to kind of give it back to them as well.
That is really fantastic. We have, like you mentioned, right? Today it is about matching the business needs to technology and trying to, put that's the transformation that we're talking about, which we've seen with technology. And today, I think in India, that's how startups are born. So today, all startups are tech-born companies. And even all the legacy companies have started looking at how they can really use technology and, work with consumers or, provide the services to consumers using tech. So everything is tech today. And I think India has been early adopters. We've seen the startup ecosystem in India has picked up technology like anything. And we're seeing that India is reaching at that level. It is creating opportunities. The global regions are looking at India. How do you see, the growth of India from this perspective?
In fact, it's a very, very valid question. And it is very close to my heart as well, because primarily we are Bharatiyas, right? And although I've stayed for a long time in the US, but coming back to my roots has really sort of opened my eyes as well. right? So India is the biggest growth story that has ever evolved in the recent past. I think clearly this is India's millennium, to be very honest, right? India is rather poised to a huge growth, and the reason behind this is India's digital sort of public infrastructure. So if you really ask me, what are the opportunities? The opportunities are multifold. Few of those would be the first and foremost India's growing digital sort of infrastructure, public infrastructure. The second is fintech, phenomenal rise in fintech, right? And this entire AI driven solutions approach, right? And India is currently poised at a juncture wherein India has tremendous potential. It has phenomenally young talent pool. All right. And the entrepreneurship, and look at the startups, like you already mentioned, right? The startups are mushrooming everywhere. And the startups have a very good mix and the sense of understanding of business topped up with technology. You know, and like you said, there are of the 1,000 startups, maybe 800 to 850, almost 80%, 85% would be all technology-based startups, right? And there's a reason for that. Like I said, the talent pool is available. We are an English-speaking country as well, so we understand the global language. And nobody can question India's technological prowess. Look at what UPI has done. I mean, all the other countries are adopting what India did for UPI, right? And if you look at the European countries and all, they are all making a beeline towards India, saying they help us out in this UPI. You have a brilliant product out here. Look at what Jaquar is doing for travel industry here, airlines industry. Now, similarly, if you look at entrepreneurship, the first thing that nowadays the entrepreneurs do is get a technology leader. So earlier it was all about the HRs, right? So how do we get a talent? But now straight you go to the person who is a technology leader, get them onboarded, and then go to the VCs, you know, asking for funds. So because the VCs also would ask the first question, all right, you're the CEO, you're the founder, but where is your technology guy? So that's where the phenomenal rise of technology and its power, its prowess, its need for the entire community, and especially in India. And the Westerners are now looking forward to the Indian talent pool. You know, there's a reason why Indians are going abroad and they're getting attracted is because the technological know-how right from the beginning, whether it is the power of zero, which the Indians invented, right, up to, I mean, the Ayurveda, and it's all India. So, and India is going to be the global powerhouse in the next few years, maybe a decade or so, wherein technology is going to be right up there. You know, so that's how I see it. There's a huge potential for Indians, and India is going to be, and we all know Indians, our government is also talking about, it's already our 5th largest economy in the world. Now it is going to be very soon a 3rd largest economy. That spells volumes, you know. And if we have to achieve that, the following things have to be done. One is technology. Second is entrepreneurship, it's the startups community, and this entire digitalization of businesses, which is, we can see it anywhere and everywhere nowadays in India.
Absolutely. And I mean, with your expertise around the emerging technologies like AI, IoT, cybersecurity, what trends do you see next in India and globally?
Right. I would rather certainly talk about AI. There's no doubt about it. Although, I mean, everybody is talking about AI, but there's a reason why everybody is talking about AI. If you look at it, AI is touching every field now. The fact about AI-driven solution, and I am fascinated about AI, especially about the generative AI. You know, the ability of generative AI to automate tasks. You know, and to generate creative content. You know, you are into a creative field as well. One sort of query to the AI, and AI comes up with fascinating options for us to mull over and pick and choose, and so on and so forth, right? And then this entire piece of cybersecurity, right? So AI is helping in the cybersecurity. It is ensuring that we are safeguarded. So a combination of this entire piece of AI, generative AI, which is helping the businesses as well as the cyber security, safeguarding us with risks. That is yet another aspect of it. Since you asked me about this trends, I firmly believe is, although I am talking about AI, But believe me, I'm saying this, AI is passé already.
Yeah.
What is going to be taking up in the next maybe a decade or so is quantum.
True.
So many people might not have heard about this, but I had the opportunity to work in quantum technology. You must have recently heard about an announcement with the largest. Google made an announcement about its chip.
Yeah.
It's a quantum chip.
Yeah.
And what usually would have taken 1,000 supercomputers to do something in years and years, maybe 60, 65 years, it has been able to do it in seconds. And that's where the quantum technology comes into picture. What AI can do in seconds, quantum can do in milliseconds. So the speed, adaptability, availability is phenomenal. So that's where the future. I mean, I'm nobody to. I can't gaze in the crystal ball as such. But then, if you really ask me the next trend, it's all about AI and quantum and generative AI and quantum as such. That's how I'll put it.
Absolutely, and I think we've already started seeing that there are discussions on global large forums around quantum. And while I still feel AI is there, but I think there is still a lot to be explored in AI, which humans have not got there.
That's true.
Because of the worry of how it will, react otherwise from a security standpoint.
Right. I'll just give an example. Sorry, I'll just give an example, right? I mean, since we're talking about AI, and there is no better evidence than talking about what we have been able to do already experience now.
Yes.
I mean, now I am in the manufacturing sector. So what I have seen in the manufacturing sector is tremendous automation coming in based on AI. So earlier, say for example, there are 500 blue collar workers, which at no point in time I'm talking about displacement of any humans, right? It is all about some other task can be done by the humans, but the automation of the entire supply chain, manufacturing process, production environment, and so on and so forth. When you go into a smart factory, earlier it was factory, now it is talking about smart factories, right? When we talk about smart factories, you will see all robots out there. And now with the advent and amalgamation of AI in those robots, one can actually predict before a mishap happens in terms of if, say, for example, there is going to be a breakdown in the entire assembly line, at least 24 hours, within 24 hours, the AI can think, talk, provide the evidence saying that this particular assembly line is going to close down or shut down in the next 24 hours, right? Unless you take corrective action immediately. And that is the power of AI. Before something happens, it is able to predict and it is able to kind of send across a notification alert saying that please take care of this, otherwise your production line is going to shut down very soon. And then you quickly kind of scurry around and the humans come around and get it actioned upon, right? So which means that imagine the kind of safety that we have. Imagine there is no shutdown on the assembly line. The production just goes on 24/7 by 365. Revenues coming, growth, business happens. There is no hampering of work at all. So that is something which is really, really appealing. And the business knows this, And for any manufacturing organization, shutting down of any assembly line is considered to be a big no-no, right? Because it directly impacts the business revenues. And that is where the AI helps. Yet another example is all about security, right? Cybersecurity nowadays. We all know what is happening across. The more we digitize ourselves, the more the propensity and we are becoming more prone towards cyber attacks and unauthorized sort of transactions being defrauded as well, right? And that is where AI comes into picture. It certainly will be able to safeguard, sort of use the knowledge available to set up a perimeter and say we call it impregnable networks, right? So that is something which AI can bring into the fold and to the table.
Absolutely. I think there are no defined number of use cases or the transformation or the automation or the prediction that AI can do.
Right.
I think it just cuts across everything that humans do today, and AI can be part of it.
Right.
Fantastic. You've led some really large-scale digital transformation in your journey. What are some of the common business challenges that you faced during these transformations that you've brought in, and how leaders or people who are aspiring to, reach where you are, how can they look at these challenges?
All right. So firstly, I don't think so. I've reached anywhere. there is a long way to go, and there are a lot of things to be achieved. However, let me address it in two parts. As the first part is all about challenges, right?
Yeah.
Typically, in any kind of digital and business transformation, people do think about, oh, it's all technology driven, but it's actually not. Technology is something which is there, and technology is the easiest thing to implement. To be very honest, I mean, it's easiest than that because maybe I have 27 years of experience, and that's why I'm saying this. But then the most difficult task for any business transformation and digital transformation is the mindset.
Right.
That is the change management that comes into picture. And leaders have to be very represent of this, understand this, because although change is constant, nobody can defy that. However, there is huge resistance,
Yeah.
and we are humans, right? It is common human tendency to resist change. So what should be done, rather what must be done, is change the mindset. Prepare people and organization before any implementation even kicks off. All right. And that is where leaders come into picture. Now, how do we do this? How does one do this? One is we have communication. The first aspect is communicate rather over communicate. Saying that something is coming up, why we are doing this, what are the objectives, what are the benefits out of this, and what are we going to achieve. And the second thing is, don't worry, nobody's going to take your job. And that is where the empathy also comes into picture. So leaders have to show their communication skills. They have to be empathetic to the people also, and there are learnings in this process.
Right.
So the leaders have to come into picture when you have to change the mindset of people. You have to get into the way they think, come to their level, make them understand what is required, why is it required, who's going to do what, when, how, and what are the objectives behind and benefits around this, right? So this is the first and foremost aspect of it. The second aspect of it is the leaders have to lead by example. One cannot just keep delegating things, and the teams have to do it. Although it's a teamwork, there is no doubt about it.
Right.
But get everybody together, especially the board, especially the entire organizational departments who are going to be impacted with that change.
Right.
That is the first and foremost that needs to be done. That's where the learning comes into picture, right? So, I mean, it's over communication, empathy, learnings, leadership, teamwork comes into picture, and the fact that we have to be at it always. And even if the first step is a failure, don't regret, just go move on.
Right.
Keep moving on, march along, because failure leads to better results, to be very honest as such. That's how I'll put it.
Fantastic. How do you see technologies like AI, blockchain, IoT shaping the corporate governance and operational excellence of any organization?
All right. So it's a combination, right? So we all keep talking about AI. IoT is something, I think I'm glad that you touched base upon that as well, because IoT is something which can really help in terms of monitoring activities, especially in the production shop floor, say for example, even the service industry, Internet of Things, in terms of making sure that at the ground level, we have, say for example, we have the POS terminals, point of sale terminals, right? Similarly, the IoT devices play a very vital role in transferring and transmitting critical data and information, to systems which are constantly monitoring.
Correct.
And with the help of this monitoring services, which the IoT kind of feeds that information, decisions can be made, critical decisions can be made. So we call it data-driven insights, right? And the data is getting generated from those IoT devices. All right. Typically, we call it PLCs in technological terms, PLCs and all. I'll give an example here as well. I had the opportunity to recently to been traveling to a country wherein it is known for its manufacturing sort of prowess, right? The moment I stepped into their manufacturing plant, I was stunned, to be very honest. I was anticipating a lot of workers out there, a lot of huge crowd, there's assembly lines out there, things getting manufactured, products being manufactured and produced, and so on and so forth. Nothing of that sort happened there. All I could see is robots. In that huge complex, where at least there are millions and millions of hectares of land, and that huge plant, there were 3 people, to be very honest. Only 3 people. Yeah, rest everything is robotic technology. And the reason they were able to do this complete automation are 2 things.
Right.
One is IoT.
Right.
So you'll see everywhere there are IoT devices, and when you have IoT devices, like I said, it keeps feeding information, data, and all at the point of sale, or at the point of manufacturing, and the AI sitting on top of it consumes that data and information, does its magical analysis, and then sends it across to the head office saying that, this particular component is just about to be shut down. Right. Okay, you need to do something quickly, and or your production capacity is, say for example, 100 vehicles in an hour. Right. And I am predicting that you won't reach 100 vehicles in an hour. You might reach around 95. Right. And you need to do these things, take these steps, so that you'll be able to manufacture those 100 vehicles as such, right? But that is the power of IoT, and in combination of AI. Right. And with the advent of this entire cloud infrastructure, digital cloud infrastructure, it is even more, even better now, because AI itself can't do much. Right. If it doesn't have that compute power, and that is where the cloud comes into picture, right? And IoT also comes into picture. So IoT becomes the present point of present. It feeds information, AI consumes it, identifies the flaws, gaps, or opportunities, analyzes it, and gives you insights and knowledge. And all this is based on the infra which is provided by the cloud. So if you look at it, I just built for you a chain, how it works.
Absolutely.
Everything is dependent on each other, and that is the beauty of it. So it is like a dance of sorts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody is in salsa. Maybe salsa is all about 2 people, but 2 people dancing to their rhythm in a rhythmic format, right? Yeah. And if they are out of line, you can't have salsa.
Correct.
Yeah, that's how it is. So the cloud, IoT, AI, everything should dance together.
Correct.
That's how I'll put it.
Absolutely. And I think that is Industry 4.0.
That is Industry 4.0, yes, but now we are already on the brink of Industry 5.0 as such, right? 5.0 is all about AI, IoT, to be very honest.
Correct.
And it is just fascinating.
Absolutely. Fascinating, absolutely. And I think I can actually visualize when you said there are only 3 people for the entire manufacturing unit. There are robots probably at the manufacturing plant. There are IoT systems or sensors on the machineries, and then there is AI on top of that. I can visualize it all, and I think that's
as an example. I mean, I'm with Jaquar right now.
Right.
We produce, and believe me, it's a 65-year young organization. Yeah. To be very honest, and ours is a 24/7 by 365. There are a couple of things here. One is we are extremely poised, extremely focused on quality. Right. No questions asked. Every single product that comes out of the assembly line is quality verified, quality tested. Right. And if there is a smallest of small flaw, it just gets rejected, goes back to the beginning of the assembly line, and then gets redone. All together, it just kind of gets redone. No questions asked. So that's one part of it. The second part is, of course, the use of materials, right? We sort of source the best of the best materials from across the world. And the third is this entire technological interfaces, right? So we are quite up there in terms of digital technology adoption and implementation. So our technology team back at home, it's always humming with energy, because we are excited to get in more and more advanced technologies into the fold. So that is something which we with pride we talk about it, right? So that is something which we always do, and every day there's something new coming up, and we have something called like an innovation hub as well at our end. So So I just thought that probably
Yeah.
I'll talk about our experience.
Right, absolutely. So I also had a thought when you were mentioning this. Since Jaquar is 65 plus year old,
Young organization.
young organization, not old, young organization, and is so visionary in terms of looking at technology to drive business. What percentage do you think is such organization? And I still feel that a lot of organizations in the SME in India maybe are still not looking at technology like this, right?
You're absolutely right. There is a long, and that's the reason I'm saying there is a long way for all of us to go.
Right.
Although, I mean, Jaquar is an enterprise, very large organization as such, and it has gone through its travels of adoption and digital transformation and so on and so forth. And we're already there.
Yeah.
But talking about the SMBs, there is a big opportunity still. There's a big gap as well. Where there's gap, there's always opportunity.
Right.
But I truly believe that in the next decade or so, we will be a manufacturing sort of powerhouse across the globe.
Right.
So much so that we should be able to really compete very hard with China.
Right.
Who obviously is the leader as of now, but we are very close to that as well. And of
Sure.
course, with the current impetus of the government also is helping.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, our economy is buoyant because we are looking at manufacturing sector on one hand, we are looking at the digital economy on the other hand.
Yeah.
That's where fintechs come into picture, and this entire third push of entrepreneurship, that's where startups
Right.
coming into picture, right?
Yeah.
So it's a three-pronged approach, and it's a perfect triangle, to be very honest.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that India is going to be like really doing well in terms of and growing leaps and bounds. And coming back to the SMB, that is where the opportunity lies.
Yeah.
Because now we are seeing this buoyancy. The SMBs are also now looking forward to not only implementing technology, but really adopting that technology. In the earlier days, SMBs were, it's all about humans, it's all about manpower,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
You throw manpower at a problem, typically.
Yeah.
Now things are changing for sure, wherein they don't throw manpower at a problem. They would rather want to adopt technology,
Right.
and transform their business. It's happening. It's happening. Look at this, the entire jewelry industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So earlier it was all artisans, right?
Right.
And people were designing those
Yeah.
creative designs and all,
Yeah.
right? Now everything is being done by technology. You have
Technology.
design. You don't have designers, human designers.
Correct.
You have AI designers out there,
Yeah.
and they creatively create something which is like really good. And all you have to do is fine tune it.
Right.
All right. And that's about it. So it is completely changing that industry if you really look at it.
Right.
And I had the opportunity recently to visit this particular jewelry unit in Gujarat, where earlier it was all manpower driven, it was artisan and all. Now you suddenly see the designing happening on the computers, and those designs, and there are several options, like 100 options provided, right? And you just have to pick up one, and boom, and then you just go to the production line and start making it, right?
Yeah.
And so that also is enabling and helping. I'm sure women are very close to the jewelry.
Yeah.
We keep talking about making charges, right? Why are the making charges so huge, so high? So it's reducing the making charges now.
Correct.
So that's how it is.
Correct.
I hope it addresses your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. If you were to give like one message to any assembly organization, founder listening to this dialogue, if they were to look at technology, how should they, firstly, why and how is the question of, looking at it.
All right. Now, traditionally, conventional methodology, like I said, they used to, the SMBs used to employ these conventional methodologies of our manpower, right?
Yeah.
Now it's all about, if SMB wants to grow, which they all do,
Right.
and at a very faster pace and with a reduced cost, that is the message which we need to convey to the SMBs. Now, if we show them using digital sort of options, saying that if you do this, you're going to reach this end.
Right.
However, if you adopt technology, you're going to suddenly reach here.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of message that we're talking about. It's not only about manpower, it is manpower in addition to technology, that is where it is going to hit them positively.
Positively.
I'm saying, so if somebody SMB is looking at maybe 1,000 crores.
Right.
Okay, I don't know if that is the definition of SMB
Yeah.
or not, but let's say 1,000 crores
Yeah.
of revenue in a year. Then, and that is via the traditional conventional methodology of manpower intensive business. You put a layer of technology on top of it. Suddenly, the 1,000 crores becomes 2,000 crores, and that is the message that needs to go to the founders of SMB. So, do not think small. Think really big.
Yeah.
If you are thinking 1x, don't do 1x. Think 3x.
Right.
Okay, and that is the message that will really drive home the SMB's sort of outlook as well. It will change the outlook.
Fantastic. Dinant, you as a thought leader and a mentor, what is your vision for India's tech ecosystem by 2040?
All right. So, like I said, I'm not a magician or somebody who gazes in the crystal ball. However, in the next like a decade, 15 years, we're sitting on 2025, we're talking about 2040, right? It's the way I see it, it's the following elements, right? One is automation. That will come from this entire AI-based, AI-driven solutions, right? Second is this entire piece of cybersecurity. You know, like I said, the more we digitize ourselves, the more cyber risks come into picture, and then how do we safeguard ourselves around this entire cyber risk? So that's the other piece. That is where I really foresee that AI and cybersecurity will play a very pivotal sort of role. Now, the reason I'm saying is even today, we're talking about deep fakes, right? There's frauds happening everywhere. Digital arrests which are happening nowadays. It's all over the place. So I clearly see in the next 15, 20 years, we are on one hand, we are talking about AI. The other hand, we are talking about the cybersecurity. And bang in the middle is the fact that people like us, we have to keep one eye on AI, the other eye on cybersecurity. And bang in the middle is the fact that how do we enable ourselves? How do we learn to make sure that we deal with these two very advanced technologies and the concerns around it as well? So that is something which we are talking about. And also 2040 India perspective is all about India is going to be a global powerhouse when it comes to technology and the talent pool. The world is going to take notice. It's already happening, and when it comes to technology, India is the world. There's nobody else even closer to us. Look at what is happening in our space technology. Our great ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, they are making ripples. Where there is spacecrafts which have been launched by other countries in the world at, say, for example, hundreds of billions of dollars, and we are able to do it within a fraction of that cost. That speaks volumes about our talent, about our skill, about our learning capabilities as well. Our genes are such that they are honed over the number of decades and generations as well. And that is where I truly believe that India's talent, India's entire digital outlook, digital economy, that is something which I'm really gung-ho about. And the third piece is our entire enterprising capability of cybersecurity. These three pieces are going to be the pivotal, critical pieces for India, and the world is going to keep looking at it. Not only take a notice, but they will want to have more and more.
Absolutely. Transformation is often as much as people and technology. So how do you approach inspiring and leading teams during this whole significant change?
Right. I do believe that transformation is not about technology, to be very honest. Transformation is all about people. Technology is just one piece of it. Technology will be there. Technology will be, obviously, it will drive it. But what is the most important aspect is people. And we talk about teams. In today's day and age, it's all about distributed teams, right? Remote working, your teams are scattered across the globe. Somebody is working from the US, somebody is working from the Middle East or in the European nations, and we are here in India as such, right? So how do we get everybody together at the same level? How do we enable them to sync up, right?
Right.
That is where communication comes into picture. And I keep talking about it. And believe me, I have gone through those travels as such, okay, for many number of years. Be very precise in the communication. Draw a picture of the vision that you have. All right. If one is mandated to provide this entire digital transformation, bring in digital transformation for the organization, then that person has to precisely communicate the vision first and foremost to the entire organization, especially the teams. Second is collaboration. We have to provide an environment within the organization which thrives on collaboration, which thrives on teamwork. It is not going to be possible or successful if one tries to do it in isolation. It is all about teamwork, and that is where the agile methodology comes into picture. So provide the entire environment and create that environment in such a way that agile methodologies are adopted. Agile methodologies itself suggests that it is teamwork. No task can be done individually. Yes, you can have individual contributors, but ultimately for a project to be successful, it has to be a teamwork. So that's where, in addition to communication, collaboration comes into picture, agile methodologies come into picture. And then we need to have a complete sort of kind of a testing environment. We call it like a experimentation or innovation hub. All right. The entire piece of innovations and which obviously innovation means failures.
Right.
We keep failing, but fail fast. Right. So once we keep doing it, all right, and that is where this entire piece of confidence also comes into picture. Have a culture within the organization that failures are not bad, failures are opportunities for learning and to be able to create better products.
Right.
So that entire culture of innovation hub comes into picture, and draw resources from various sort of departments or teams across the organization, make a pool out of it, make a team out of it, give them a project saying that this is a project, now come together, you innovate things, ideate things as well, try it out, test it out, and then obviously bring out the results, right? So when you talk about results, the first and foremost thing is the vision. The second is draw the results of the objectives or the success factors that you're looking at right up front, saying that we are doing this because we want to reach here, because we want these benefits, or because we want to see these results. So now it's very crystal clear that what are you trying to do, what are the results, what are the benefits that businesses are accruing. And the benefits not necessarily mean it is revenues generation itself. Benefits could be anything else. Could be better brand building also. Could be about successful customer experience, delivering customer experience, which is, by the way, it's a very important thing nowadays.
Yes, absolutely.
In today's day and age, it's all about 10 minutes delivery, right?
Yeah.
So earlier, Domino's came out with a 30-minute promise that pizzas will be delivered at your doorstep for 30 minutes, within 30 minutes. Then came Zomato, we'll trump you, we will do a 15-minute distance. Now we have Swiggy, we have Zepto, we have so many people, 10-minute delivery, and they really work. And it just, you order something and before you bat an eyelid, it is there at your doorstep. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, right? And that is where the experience comes to picture. And with that also, consumers, they have so many options available, right? So if we are, as an organization, we are not close to the consumer experience, we don't believe in that, we're going to lose the consumer to something else. Competition is really, really big nowadays, right? So that is something which we're looking at. And I truly believe in this can happen only once we cultivate the culture of innovations, cultivate the culture of saying, don't worry, failure is not the end, it is just the beginning of something big. So when the inventor of the bulb, Edison, do you know that he did 1,000 experiments, which means that 1,000 failures before he cracked the code? That is how it is. And that is a classic example.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well articulated. And I think this has been a fantastic conversation. I have one last question. Anybody who's starting their career, say, is an 18-year or a 20-year-old, wants to get into this field and wants to look at this journey in technology, what advice would you want to give them?
All right. Firstly, I am nowhere to give advice. I can just suggest.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning, to be very honest. Even after 27 years, I'm still learning, and I believe in that. So, one of the suggestions that I would have, first and foremost, for youngsters, right? Whilst I do believe that I would also want to be still young and not age. But then coming back to this, first and foremost is keep learning. It's lifelong learning. Yeah. Second is technology is something which opens our not only eyes but our mind as well. Yes. The future is technology, present is technology, maybe years and decades together it is technology. We are surrounded with technology, right? Today's day and age, I don't think so we can survive without technology, to be very honest, right? Yeah. Of course, we can survive. We can't survive without the basic elements like air, water, food and all. But apart from that, technology, look at nowadays your handphone, right? Yeah. It is something which you cannot ignore. First thing in the morning, unfortunately, we do is reach out to the phone for the phone, right? And it has become an integral part of it. It's like an extended hand that we have. So that is one aspect of it. So embrace that technology, but don't become the technology. Yeah. Because if one becomes a technology, then it's a problem. Correct. So embrace that technology. There is no such field which would be giving you the kind of satisfaction and the experience and the thrill other than technology, to be very honest. Right. So keep at it. The other aspect is, apart from learning, is communication. Build upon your leadership and communication skills. The reason behind this is one needs to be, for a leader, it is absolutely imperative. If we have to come across and get across to our teams, we have to communicate properly. So build upon the communication skills, build upon the experiences, draw upon the experiences. The other thing is, do not hesitate to discuss or ask for help from somebody else. Because human tendency is, unfortunately, is we don't try to reach out to others, because we think that, if we ask that other person, that is demeaning for us. I mean, correct, what will he think about us? Correct. Okay, we are maybe not intelligent, we're not smart enough, but that is not the case. We always draw upon somebody else's experience, right? And cultivate the habit of dialogue, and that is something which is going to be really helpful. And there's no point in reinventing the wheel. If somebody has already invented something, right? He or she has gone through this experience. Draw upon that experience, use that experience, and build upon it, right? So that is something. And in today's day and age, people need to have patience, unfortunately. But today's generation are a bit impatient, maybe a lot impatient. True. And from the technological standpoint, I would suggest that people need to be a bit patient. Give it some time for the results to come in. Right. So say, for example, if some new technology has been implemented within an organization, the entire organization is looking at saying that within a month, we are looking for results. That doesn't happen. We have to give it time, at least a 3 to 6 months time before even we can start revisiting it. Sure. Yeah. So that's where the patience comes into picture. So the first and foremost is communication. Second is leadership. Build upon that. Ask for help. The yet another aspect is all about patience. We need to have. And the fourth one, maybe the most important aspect, is be passionate about whatever you do. Like, say, for example, Khusbhu, you yourself are so passionate about your own organization as a founder, right? You want it to be successful, grow, expand beyond the geographical limits of India and go global and all. So that's about passion. I could see that in your eyes and in your entire demeanor, right? And so whatever one does, do it passionately, and especially in the field of, as in professional field, whatever career that you choose in technology. There are hundreds of careers in technology, right? You can have security, you can have infra, you can have the AI, you can have digital. Whatever field that you choose or work stream that you choose within technology, be passionate about it. Be at it, have patience, build communication skills, draw upon other experiences. And I'm very sure this is the best concoction that you can ever know and see for a successful professional career, and also hopefully people should also give back to the community as well.
Absolutely.
So think about the society, think about the community, think how we can enable the entire society, not only the organization, and make sure that we make a difference not only to the organization but also to the society at large. That's a small suggestion that I have.
Really nice. I think very inspiring. Everything that you mentioned is so true. And I think everybody looks at it on a day-to-day basis or should work upon it on a day-to-day basis. Thank you so much, Dinant, for joining me today and sharing all your wonderful insights for our viewers. It means a lot.
Thank you so much. In fact, I should be thankful. It's an absolute pleasure to be a part of this particular episode. And believe me, Khusbhu, you and your entire team at the Mainstream, I would want to kind of congratulate you also and thank you. I can't thank you enough as well on this. And may you be successful wherever you go in the entire globe. And hopefully, maybe after, I don't know, a year or so, we can still come back and have a different kind of conversation where maybe I have the opportunity of interviewing you because you'll reach that particular level wherein you'll be a global globetrotter, and I would have that opportunity to interview you.
That is very lovely of you. Thank you so much.
Like the Women Entrepreneur of the Year globally.
Thank you so much, Dinant. It means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.